Like I did a panel for 40 minutes, which now I look back on it and I'm going, fuck, if you gave me the opportunity now, like I was sitting there with a skinny cap doing cutbacks and whatnot, you know?
Bro,
I'm like, if you give me 40 minutes now, I will do literally like the most insane panel. But at the time, I was just like excited to be doing a panel, you know? And I never thought you could do art as a job, you know? And she said to me, no, you can, you know? And she showed me examples and I was like, oh, fuck, all right, that's why I'm going to pursue art.
I'll start it off with this, eh?
Yeah,
the boys. All right. Something a bit different today. We've got a young fella on the pod.
Hello.
If you
Am I
want
the youngest?
Yeah, mate, by far. I don't know how young you are. Like, I'm pretty sure you're pretty young, but yeah, let me know how old you are.
Yeah, I'm early 20s. Let's just say I haven't hit 25. So yeah, there you go.
Wow, man. Yeah, everyone I've had on here's been like over 30s. So you're the first youngster, man.
There you go.
And that's what I'm so excited to get like a young up and coming like hectic artist at the moment. So I've been G'd for this for a while, man. So I'm glad you fucking jumped on, eh?
Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me. Keen to chat.
Yeah, boy. All right. Let's just start off with we'll just start off with where you grew up. Sorry, excuse the fucking cat mask, but it's a bit itchy at the moment. But yeah, it's all good.
Okay. All good.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Sydney. Obviously, I grew up in Earlwood. So Earlwood, sort of born and bred for pretty much my whole childhood up till I was 18. I was in Earlwood, Green Line. Sort of, I went
Green
to
Line
school in the
rocking.
inner west. Yeah, that's it. First trackside on Green Line, fucking had to be done. So Earlwood was the spot. All my friends were Greek as a kid. I'm actually French, not Greek, surprisingly.
True.
But
yeah, right.
Yeah. That was it. Earlwood, the Greek suburb.
Yeah.
Learning Greek. Yeah.
Little French boy in the Greek suburb.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I was one of the only ones, I think, in the whole Earlwood. It would have been.
Yeah, nice. You got any childhood like memories from around Earlwood back in the day? Because it was kind of like a bit. Oh, it's not really back in the day. Oh, actually, yeah, for you, what, like 15 years ago, like when you were like a toddler kind of thing growing up, was it like your childhood memories like back then? Because it was like a middle class area, right?
Yeah. Like Earlwood hasn't changed much. I would say it's definitely gotten richer, like in the last sort of 5 years. But it was all right. I feel like my biggest sort of memories was not necessarily in Earlwood. I would say as a kid, I did a lot of like you'd go through Earlwood on your bike to go to sort of Marrickville area, especially along the Cooks River. I feel like as a kid, I used to love just going out the Cooks River, just riding along,
Yeah, bro. I was exactly the same.
Sort of helped with the graph as well. But yeah, just I would say every weekend at least I'd be going out the Cooks River. Otherwise as well, I went up to the Blue Mountains a lot because my family enjoyed doing bushwalks. So I feel like for me on the weekend it was either go down the Cooks River for a bike ride or go out to the Blue Mountains for some bushwalking. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I was exactly the same, man. That's where my whole graph career started. I used to live in like around the Strathfield area and just getting my BMX when I was like, fuck, I reckon I was probably about like 10 or something like that. And back in the day, like my parents were pretty lax with everything, and they'd just be like, yeah, go out as long as you come back before the street lights turn off or whatever. You're sweet. So I used to like ride, bro. I used to ride down to like, fuck, where do I go? I probably went up to near where you live.
Yeah.
All just through Cook's Canal, that little fucking pathway that goes all the way up. All the way up. I can't remember where it goes to. I don't know where it stops.
You can go to the city almost. Like you can go all the way to the airport without jumping on a road pretty much. I think the extent of my travels would have been Tempe, sort of where Tempe Station is. That's kind of the first I would have gone at a young age. And up your ways to Strathfield. I feel like once it forked at Strathfield, it was like,
that's it.
Nah, you got to turn back now.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I think it starts kind of at Homebush or even into like the Enfield Yards. I think it goes. No, Strathfield Golf Course is probably where it stops. But yeah, man, I just remember that's where I picked up graph in the first place, going
Yeah,
to the city on
true,
the train.
true.
But the ones that picked it up was like seeing, like, I don't know if you know Bran and all the OSF boys,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
TSC, all that shit from back in the day, Zombie and all that. Like, they're the ones that really got me into it. Is that your kind of thing too, where you were just like right
My
along the
my
canals?
thing my thing was the canals were a bit later, I would say. I feel like weirdly enough, I think I got into graph, at least I started noticing it very, very early. I have like vivid memories, and I actually remember the two riders who it were. And this will be strange for everyone else because these riders are not sort of old school by any means, but
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't
I have
matter.
a vivid memory of in Earlwood, sort of on Homer Street, which is one of the sort of main streets. There was a white cafe, fully white, with one tag on it by BG's,
Bee
just a
Gees.
singular BG's tag. Yeah, because he had a lot around on all the light poles around there.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I just remember seeing that on this white wall, and I'd see it every day on the way to primary school, and I'd just go, like, why is that there?
Yeah.
And similarly, there was down on the roundabout up going up to Dulwich Hill from Earlwood, there was a on the roundabouts they have the sort of stripy signs,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
black and white.
It's like an
Bust,
arrow going one
yeah,
way or
yeah, yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Buster, who
Yeah.
coincidentally is also French, but I didn't know at the time. He had done a tag, but he had put I think it was Buster, or maybe it was someone else, but he had done a tag where one letter was white on the black, one letter was black on the white,
Ah,
so on,
tripping
and spelt
out.
out his name.
What
And
a tripper.
yeah, and I
That's
remember
mad.
just driving past that again. That stayed up for all my childhood. So those were the two things that I saw, and I went, that is very strange, and I don't really know what that is. But then it wasn't until I went to France that really it took off. Because at that point,
Mm.
I had seen graffiti, I'd seen tags, I'd seen pieces in the Cooks River. I was sort of doing a few sketches, but I didn't really understand what graffiti was. And then my family's from Marseille in the south of France. And in Marseille, let's just say the buff doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So if you've
bro.
ever been to Europe,
I've,
the
I've been to
highways are
France.
just,
Bro, I've been to
yeah,
France. I went on like a Kentucky tour with like my missus and that. And man, when we got there, like the guy was like, "All right, we're staying in a hotel. It's pretty rough, but you're in there. So if you want to go outside the building, let us know, and then we'll get you. We'll get the bus
yeah,
or
right,
car, or
right.
whatever. We'll take you out of where we are." And I was like, "Nah, fuck this. Let's go for a walk and shit." And then just
Yeah,
walking out there,
oath.
there's cunts like selling drugs and fucking on their BMXs and shit, and just like graph everywhere, man. Like
Yep, yep.
even on the Kentucky tour, like just driving through like the highways and shit, it was just fucking covered. Like
Yeah, stuff
I've
is
never
up
seen
for
anything like it,
years.
man, before. Like, yeah, anywhere I've gone in the world, like that was probably like the most covered. Besides, like, yeah, I don't know, like Melbourne back when I went there ages ago on the train line, that was covered because they never buffed anything. But
Mm.
in the actual streets, France was a fucking another level, man.
Yeah, it gets
Like,
smashed. And I think especially Marseille, sort of with Marseille, it's very corrupt. They've got a lot of like drug problems and other pretty big crime problems. And
yeah,
like, for example, a family member of ours had a car stolen. You go to the police and you say, "Oh, my car got stolen," and then they say to you, "Oh, so what? What do you expect us to
yeah,
do about it?" You know
yeah.
what I
It's
mean? Like
normal.
it's over there. It's a bit different. So they obviously their last priority is buffing graffiti. They really do it
Yeah,
I would say that there's a 1 kilometer radius around the very, very touristy center where they do buff. Everywhere else, they probably buff once every 20 years. So
yeah. Like over the
it's
like
yeah.
heritage areas, like the main in Paris or whatever, was pretty clean. But fuck, man,
Mm.
like I think we were like fucking. Oh, from memory, bro, this was like, this would have been like 10 years ago, man, and like it was probably. I thought from memory, it's probably about 5 minutes away to the city from where we were staying, but it was just fucking, mate. It was hectic. It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it just gets smashed. They don't really do much about it 'cause it's a waste of money, and they actually don't really care to clean it up, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, take note, Sydney. Fucking stop wasting your
Yeah,
fucking money on buffing. Like, fuck me
exactly,
dead.
exactly.
Like, look at the train lines in Sydney, man. They get buffed all the time. Well, not recently, but yeah, I just remember like you do a piece and then the fucking next day it's buffed, and you're like,
Exactly. It's
what's the
like,
point of that? I don't want to see a fucking brown wall. I've mentioned this before on my other pods as well, but man, just just a waste of money. But I guess the government gets like a lot of money through tax, so they're gonna spend it somewhere. Like fuck, then
Yeah, yeah.
they jack up the numbers and be like, oh, we've spent like $20 million on buffing trains and bullshit. I'm like, man, can't it costs you like $150 to get acetone and just wipe it off?
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly. It's
I
a bit of
mean,
a scam, yeah.
yeah, and then you got
Yeah,
like areas like Newtown and stuff where you kind of that area kind of thrives off graffiti, right? So
yeah.
those kind of areas were, yeah. Newtown was a good area back in the day, and it's still good now. But it used to be pretty sweet with like bombing and shit like that back then. But what have you painted around Newtown or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it's like fairly good. Like, the main street you can still get away with, walking around at 7 p.m. and catching a tag on a shop front and, no one sort of bats an eye. But I would say that it is getting a bit commercialized. Like, especially you see around the station, they're doing those hand painted like advertisements, which, is cool because that's business to, if it's someone who's a writer doing it, it's a bit of business, but you can really see that it's getting very like gentrified in the sense that they're
Mm,
starting to accept it and they're using it as like a marketing strategy, which kind of dissuades people from actually, bombing hard in those areas. But the back lanes are always good. I feel like if you're from the inner west,
yeah.
even just like after school or whatever, just walking around there and just hitting the back lanes. And I used to go heaps to the abandoned tram sheds there, like near the station.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
That'd be a
yeah,
classic sort of spot after school. You'd get
yeah,
in there. I was a bit late, obviously. So
yeah.
when I sort of was going there, a lot of the times they were starting to close it all up and bolt it up, but you'd climb in
Ah,
some
okay.
way or another. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I remember painting there. Yeah, probably not when it first started or whatever, but yeah, there was like what was it, a bus or something that Days did back then? I can't remember. Or maybe it was
true.
a tram. It was probably a tram, really.
Yeah,
Like, it's a tram shed, but yeah, yeah. I remember saying that, and then I was like, oh, where's that? And I fucking went over there, and I was like, you go in there, you just opens up, and you're just like, fuck, look at all these graphs
yeah,
everywhere. And I'm like,
exactly.
sweet, just go over anyone because there's so much shit in there. But
Mm.
yeah, I remember those days. They were good. What actually instead of keep going into the graph side of things, let's um let's go back a little bit more into like your childhood and getting into
Mm.
like maybe your teenage years. What about what sports and like hobbies that kind of I don't know if you're a sporty type or if you were getting into hobbies and that's what eventuated into graph, like the artistic side and stuff. But what was your sports and hobbies that you got into when you were like a teenager?
I feel like, yeah, like I probably, one of my big hobbies obviously was graph. And I was fortunate enough where I started probably, year six. I was still in primary school, sort of doing
Wow.
sketches. And that led from, I used to draw a lot of like cartoon characters. And I think that's why nowadays in my pieces, I do a lot of cartoons, comic characters, that sort of thing. Because I used to, in class, someone would say, oh, can you draw, something from The Simpsons, and I draw it. I enjoyed replicating those things.
Nickelodeon.
And
Did you have that
a
back in the
little
day,
bit.
or
I,
was
I
that a
was
bit
never
bit,
I
bit
was
after
never a
your time?
Nickelodeon just because my parents are French, so I never really watched much
Ah,
conventional TV shows. I watched a
Pepe
lot of
Le
sort of,
Pew.
yeah, just like really weird sort of French stuff, which it wasn't exactly the type of thing you draw. Yeah,
Yeah, fair
but
enough.
yeah, and then sport wise, unconventional sport. I tried the whole soccer thing as a kid because I was
Yeah,
in
well,
Earlwood.
yeah,
You
from
know,
Europe,
it
right? So you got
it
to play
didn't
soccer.
really work out. It didn't really work out for me, but sort of my sister and my mum ended up starting ice skating, like figure skating.
Oh,
And
true.
naturally, I was always
Interesting.
hanging around the ice rink, and so I thought, oh, I want to have a crack at ice hockey.
Yeah,
So
man. Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
that ended up being, I guess, it was my sort of only sport. I really played that from essentially when I was like 13 till now. I still play occasionally, but yeah.
Wow. Ice hockey. Fuck. That's a fucking
It's
rough
a good
sport, bro.
sport. It's a good sport, and I think in Australia it's good because there's not many players playing it. So if
Yeah.
you look at the statistics, you only have to be like the top 10 in your city, and you're
Yeah.
already at like a national level. So
You're the best in
it
Australia
was
then.
yeah, yeah, it was. I never really went that high, but still I
Yeah.
was playing on a state level, and traveling around, and it was, yeah, it was good because it didn't have as much competition. You didn't have to you know work as hard against other people because there was just less people playing the sport.
Yeah, is it as rough like in like in Canada and the US and stuff? There's always the punch-ons and that, but was it
Yeah,
as rough
well,
in Australia as it is in those countries, or was it a bit more like we're just playing the
so
game and don't worry about that shit?
I would say it's like just as sort of ego heavy as it would
Mm.
be in the US. Like everyone has a huge ego, and that's even worse because everyone's played with everyone since they were kids. You know, you've all played against each other for like 5, 10 years.
So you
So
kind of know
you
each
sort of
other
know
then.
everyone, and there's big competition. And then on top of that, you in the US and in Canada, like punching on is allowed, and it's part of it because it's a show. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah, it's
it's really
fucking
part of the
sick. I
game.
love
You
watching
know
it.
that they drop the gloves, right? But in Australia, you're not actually allowed, which
Yeah.
in a way, more people do it because it's like we're not allowed and we're going to cop a suspension, but that means this
Mm,
fight's going to be way more worth it, and you're actually really going to hurt each other.
true.
You know. So
Yeah.
there were a lot of fights and a lot of punch-ons, especially when the goalie gets hit or something. If the goalie gets dog shot by someone, the whole
All
team's
in.
just gonna
Yeah.
fucking jump on him. Like it's,
That's another
yeah,
thing that's
yeah,
scary about that fucking sport, man, is the fucking skates, man. Like I've seen cunts with their necks like cut open with the skates
yeah, man, yeah,
during
man.
like a scuffle or anything like that. Is there any stories like that where there's been some close calls?
Well, in my personal games, not really. Like the worst I had was like sort of, broken ankles and people throwing up. But like I also worked at an ice rink, so I saw a
Mm.
lot of gnarly stuff. Like
Oof.
I knew a guy that in hockey, because when you turn 18, you get the option to wear a half face helmet where only your eyes are covered. And this guy got I think he got a puck to the face or he got stepped on, one of the two, and his gum was hanging by a nerve.
Oh,
It was
bro.
gnarly, you
Fuck.
know.
And
It
that
was
puck is
yeah.
going fucking like how fast is that going? Like 80 k's an hour or some
Fuck, I
shit,
don't know, but
bro.
even because you're wearing padding everywhere, but even when it hits you like on the skate or on the pads, it still hurts. Like it stings, yeah. And if
Fucking
it
hell.
sneaks its way in through the pads, it'll bruise you. Yeah,
Bruise ya. Fucking
yeah,
hope it will. Knock a few teeth out. I know. Do you wear
yeah.
mouth guard?
That's it.
You
If
wear
you're not
mouth
wearing
guards?
the
Surely you're wearing a mouth guard.
yeah, you do. And the thing is,
Fuck.
me, like, I never played enough where even when I turned 18, I still just kept my full face helmet because I didn't
Yeah,
play enough
bro.
to
I
like
would
buy
too.
a new helmet. But some of
Yeah.
these dudes, yeah, you see them just like missing a few teeth and stuff. Like it's just part of the game. Once you've been playing, as an adult for 10 years, you're bound to lose a few teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So that was the main sports you played? Didn't play anything else? Like,
No, I played
that was
tennis
it?
for a brief moment. I played tennis,
Hey, I was a
which was
tennis
good.
fella.
I rate
Mate.
tennis, but I feel like ice hockey was more appealing. Like tennis is a good solo sport, but I feel like ice hockey had that more
Mm,
adrenaline sort of rush that I was craving from a sport. Like
team
tennis
sport.
was a bit sort of, yeah, like tame for me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I went from tennis to rugby union, and yeah, I kind of liked
That's tough.
rugby union a bit more because it was more physical and you could get into like fucking little brawls and stuff at school
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
tennis.
that's
Tennis
it.
is more, it's a bit more of an individual and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And I
a bit
feel
of a
like, I don't
posh
know,
sport.
like tennis is cool, but it's really like the only person you're really doing it for is yourself. Whereas
Mm,
at least the other stuff, you got kind of this team that you're rooting for. And like, even if you're
yeah,
not the best player, you still feel like you're helping out. And when you get a win, it feels like really good. I would
yeah.
say better
We
than
did
like,
it, not I did it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I think that helps later in life too when you get into careers and stuff. Instead of being that selfish person, you're getting into a team sport and you need to pick each other up to try and boost your careers and boost the business. But no, I think I'd rather my kid get into a more of a team sport, even though I did play a lot of single sports like tennis and
Yeah.
golf. But yeah, all right. Let's get back into. We'll go back into the graph scene.
Mm.
Who were like your favorite riders and your favorite crews? Because your style's it's a public style, but you've also got like characters and very artistic kind of way as well.
Yeah.
Who were your favorite crews and riders growing up? Give me a shout out.
So I would say like when I first started, like very early on, as I said, going to Marseille in France really inspired me. And there was this one bloke called Lipo,
Hmm.
Lipo. This guy was like all city. Like he had done the most insane amount of stuff. And I remember coming back to Australia and I went to Bondi And there's I think there's a platypus shop there, like the shoe shop.
Yeah, yeah, the shoe shop. Yeah,
And
yeah.
on I look up there, and on the roof I see a Lippo, and it says
No way.
from Marseille to Sydney, and I was just spun out. Like I was on top of that, I liked his style. So at first, I always tried to replicate his sort of very public, sort of straight styles.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
and this was once I sort of actually had figured out that there was some sort of thing called letter structures and that sort of thing. Before
Mm.
that, I'd just go to the skate park and I just look at pieces and try to copy them, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
But after that, I feel like I painted a lot at the wall at Steel Park in Marrickville,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
off Cooks River.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't paint it, I drove past there a lot, and I remember seeing a lot of like, obviously like Bones and Goose. Those were like I drove past
Yeah.
there, Bones and Goose, and I just be like, that is just insanely clean, and that's I think
Mm.
really where that like want to be clean, have clean lines came from, because you'd see other stuff that it was a bit more messy, and I just didn't like it. I always strive to
Yeah.
get really clean, crisp lines. Who else? I think Hotel as well. I used to see a
Yeah.
lot of Hotel
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that wall, which I quite enjoyed. His sort of styles. I feel like he does it well, where it's got that Sydney style, but there's also some like sort of kind of like Bones and
Arrows.
Goose, how there's arrows and connections and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good at that. Yeah.
And I remember also in the sort of same kind of vibe is some of the PLS boys, like Adios and like
Yeah, my
Knives and
boy.
stuff.
Adios. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
man.
I think I think like just down where I lived almost was like there was like this little canal which I didn't find till a bit later, but I just remember it was just
PLS
like,
canal.
yeah, that's the one, the
Yeah, I know the
PLS
one.
drain pretty much. And just remember seeing that and just was like, wow, that's nice. And yeah, I think Egypt as well. I think I
Yeah.
met them one time, Adios and Egypt at that wall in Steel Park. I met them and I just remember chatting to them. They were just great guys, and
Mm.
I saw them paint and it was like, I think they told me they hadn't painted in like a few years, and I see them do this piece and I'm like, you haven't painted it like in years, and you're doing like the most insanely clean and like flowy thing I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
whereas I just spent 4 hours doing like, fucking shitty little like messy sketch, so that
Yeah.
really was quite inspiring to me. Same as I
Yeah.
think I saw a lot of Freak as well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of Freak tags, bit of zombie as well.
Bro,
So I saw a lot of
best
zombie.
tags, man. Freak
Yeah,
is
I
the
know, I know.
fucking bomb with tags, man. Yeah, he went to
And
he went to the same school as me, man. And
oh,
yeah,
true,
he was a
true.
younger fella, yeah, a few years below me, man. And then yeah, seeing his progression was fucking crazy, man. Like, and then
Mm,
eventually I painted with him before he wrote Freak, I think, and then yeah, just seeing his progression was fucking really cool to see, man. It's yeah, all the stuff he's done, like the tags, the canvases and shit he does. He's a fucking weapon, man. Trains as well, of course. With all the KGB boys and that. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's so cool to see and keeping that kind of public style alive as well, like Mac and all those guys.
Mm,
But yeah, even Adios, man, like it's cool that you liked him as well because he has his style is it's public, but it's also like a really old school style. If you,
mm.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you've noticed,
the
but
fills are very like, I like how kind of technical the fills are. Like you don't really notice till you actually look and kind of inspect
mm,
it for a bit, but it's got that kind of layering that you see on more like older stuff in magazines. So
yeah,
I felt like I sort of looked at that and I went, I like the sort of old school feel and that kind of letter, but also he put a kind of more modern, clean kind of twist to it, which was
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Even his letter style's pretty like his S's. There's still little things that come out of like the S at the bottom. It's like an old school style, but even like the old double aura on the outside, man, I fucking
Yeah,
love
yeah.
seeing that shit. Where it's like a red on the outside and then like a orange or yellow, like right like next to the piece or whatever. Man, it's so cool. But all
Mm.
right,
And
so
I
yeah,
also
so
like, I would say also I had a sort of different experience with, I wouldn't say I necessarily got all of my graph pieces that I ever seen were from Sydney. I remember I got this book gifted to me. I should have brought it, but it's in my bookshelf. But I had a family friend in France who was an avid like essentially a graph spotter who just go around take pictures of graph, and
yeah,
she gifted me a book from Bristol. So Bristol in the UK, it was like an encyclopedia of like not every, but a big book on like a lot of writers from Bristol and interviews and pictures, and I remember looking through that and getting really inspired. I probably read that book like 30 times, and it's a massive book.
True.
So I would say like some of those writers, which I guess you don't really see it much, but if you look at it long enough, you kind of see that I was inspired to some extent. But there's a guy who writes Sokum,
Yeah, I
Sokem.
think yeah, I've seen that.
He
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
does Soka as well. He was one that I would look at his few pages for like hours. I'd just be like, how do you even make a piece that looks like that? I couldn't really wrap my head around how he had twisted his letters and made them look like that. So that was like
Yeah.
something I really, really enjoyed. And I would say I probably spent more time looking at those pieces than I did a lot of pieces in Sydney.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask you, man. Because you're so young, man. And like when I was young, like we had to fucking go to a library and try and find like I don't know one. I can't remember what the fucking book was called, but it just had heaps of New York stuff, and that's all we could get. And
Mm.
then yeah, obviously the internet came in, and then yeah, you had all different like there was like 12-ounce profit and a few other things like Two True forums where people started posting their stuff from around the world, and then you could start to like pretty much copy like what they've got and just change it around a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
so you being from the newer generation, how the fuck did you get so good so quick, man? Because I'm fucking jealous, bro. You're fucking almost you're
I
pretty much
mean,
better than me, man. And I've been doing this for 20 years, bro.
no, 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 not quite, not quite.
Yeah, bro. That's what blows my mind. I just don't know how you young guys, especially your mate Chorus. Shout out to Chorus.
Well, I can give a
Fuck,
yarn on
man.
chorus too as well. But
Like, how old's
I'll sort
he?
of
I can't. I
he's
forgot how.
I would say I think he's around 20. I
Yeah,
don't know his exact age,
around
but
that.
he's about like a few years younger than me. But
Man,
I'll
that's
tie into
fucking
that in a
crazy.
second. But first, I'll get back to what you were
Yeah.
saying about the improvement. I would say
Mm.
the I got quite lucky in the sense that my parents, I had the classic thing where I got into graffiti. They saw that I was into it and they went, oh, this is a bit weird. Didn't really say
Mm.
much. I went out and did all the classic toy tags. Like I smashed like my whole area. I smashed like all the way near my school. Like I just did all these little Posca tags and all these little mop tags everywhere, just the classic toy sort of outings. One day my parents confronted me and, they had a selfie of them in front of this big sort of character I had done in this
The
underpass. And
awkward chat.
I know it's a classic, it's
Yeah,
like,
I had the
oh,
same.
this was you. We saw your black book, we know this was you. You've got to stop it, blah, blah, blah. I got quite lucky in the sense that a lot of other parents told their kids that and then kind of banned them from doing anything.
Mm.
My parents, yeah, they would go through my school bag and make sure that I'd have to hide my markers. They'd make sure, like, oh, you don't have any markers in here, do you? And I go, oh, no, no, exactly, exactly. But um, on the other side of that, though, I think my dad especially, he realized that it was a big hobby of mine, and if you took it away from me, I'd be going out anyway. Like,
Yeah.
so instead he embraced it and he was like, look, I'll
Wow.
take you to the paint shop, you know,
No way.
we'll buy some paint, and then I'll
Wow.
take you to the wall on the weekend. And he just would take me to the wall and sit there while I painted, which was great for me
Fuck.
because it was
That's
like,
fucking sick, man. Like,
like exactly. I was what, like 13, and I was allowed to go to the wall on the
wow.
weekend, spend 2 or 3 hours on a piece, and then all my scraps he'd lock up in a cupboard, and I'd come along with a little screwdriver, unlock the lock, and then I'd take my
Break it into
scraps
your own
and yeah,
house.
yeah, exactly. But I feel like other kids, you know,
Yeah.
I'd go with my other mates and we'd have to go and try and get some exports somewhere, or
Mm.
I'd be racking all sorts of weird fucking paints just trying to like do a quick piece. But then I knew that even if I didn't make a really nice piece, I'd have a chance on the weekend to go and do something a bit nicer. So that kind of motivated me to sketch heaps, to you know work on that.
Yeah, yeah, that would. Yeah, your parents. Yeah, like letting you get involved in that. That's pretty fucking special, man. I guess that's probably why you got so good so quick too. You're not trying to hide it. Like every time, yeah, the first time my parents found out I was doing it, they had to pick me up from the police station. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just yeah, and
Funnily
then
enough, I had that happen later on. That they
yeah,
had the
okay.
first chat with me, and then I got picked up later on by the coppers, and my dad had to
Hey,
come get
I,
me. And
I told you, son, you're
fuck,
supposed to do legal walls, not the
I
trains.
know, I know. Although it was sort of weird in the sense that you know I think my parents realized like what I was doing was like kind of I got picked up for surfing, not surfing, just hanging out the ridges. You'd pop the back guardie and you'd fucking hang
Mm.
out the side and do tags, fucking high riders, all that sort of stuff. I got picked up doing that, and my dad, I don't
Okay.
think he was mad about me being in trouble necessarily.
Mm.
He was more just mad about like the fact that I was hanging out of a train. So
Yeah, the
in a
danger
way, I didn't
side.
get in as much trouble as I could have. He was more just like, you know, why'd you do that? And you could have hurt yourself. So that was good
Yeah,
that it wasn't as bad as it could have been for me. In the sense that
yeah,
my parents they were mad, but it wasn't like, oh, you're kicked out of the house, blah blah blah.
yeah, yeah. So what other have you ever been arrested after that? Like, is there
No,
anything you
I've
can?
kept it pretty good. I've kept it pretty good. I would say the only thing that happened after, and this was fairly recently on my 18th birthday. Bardwell Park Station on Green Line?
Yeah.
Next to the RSL, there's that big wall on the platform, like just off the platform is like a big, like nice ledge wall.
Mm.
And I've done it a couple times, and I never thought that my parents paid too much attention to graph. Like I know that they know my word, but I just feel like my mum especially, I just thought, oh, she can't really read these pieces. She's just taking the train to work.
Yeah.
And
If
so
you
on
got a
my
public
18th,
style, they can fucking read it, bro.
I know, unfortunately, and yeah,
They're
so on
looking
my
out every
18th
day outside the
birthday.
train going, where's my son fucking riding on these
Exactly.
train
Well, I
tracks?
thought the thing is, I had done Green Line like millions of times. I thought like, oh, you know, if she hasn't noticed now, why is she going to notice this one? But I
Yeah.
think it was because it was on the platform.
Yeah.
I think it would have just been
Sitting
like
there.
she just got was sitting there, looked up and goes,
Yeah.
that looks a bit too much like his work. And so yeah, I was in the car on my 18th birthday. I think I was going down to Wollongong or something, and my parents just showed me the picture and they were like, is this you? And I realized like I can't lie at this point. It's the game is done. And at this point they knew I was going into bandos and canals and stuff, but they didn't
Mm.
know that I was doing track sides and stuff.
Ah, yeah, getting to
um
more of the actual proper
yeah,
crime
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But at
That would
that
have been a
point I
good.
was
That would have
over.
been that would have been a good photo to save. Was she like chucking a West Side in the like?
Yeah, exactly, but no,
That's my
I don't think it
son.
would have worked.
You should have
But
saved that.
exactly. But at that point it was funny again because I was now 18, so it wasn't really like I was their responsibility. But my dad, again, he didn't care about the painting. He was like, oh, that looks great. He's like, nice piece, mate. Like, that's a cool scheme you've done there. But
No way.
he
That's
he
funny.
was more just like, how did you get there without stepping foot on the tracks? Because I
Secrets,
think in his
secrets,
mind,
Dad. Secrets.
yeah, I know. In his mind, it's like if you step on the tracks, you're going to get run over. And I don't think he understands the concept of, the trains not running at a certain time and,
Yeah.
hearing the train. And there are safety measures that you take. It's not, you're not just
Yeah.
running in there blind while there's a million trains going. And so he was just disappointed that I had like put myself in danger. And I didn't even bother trying to explain. I knew that,
Nah, because you know
no
you
matter
know
what
what
I
you're doing,
said, he
man.
would, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, that was quite funny in the sense that after the arrest, they thought I had sort of stopped everything, and that kind of reignited like, oh, he's doing it again. But um, they realized there's kind of nothing they can do. I'm gonna do it anyway, so they might as well just not argue with it. Otherwise, it's just gonna be arguments. So yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they don't know that I've done a panel, or like they don't know the amount of like panel spots I've done and
Are
that
you
sort
at
of
your
thing.
parents' house now?
No, thank God, thank God. I
That'd
think I
be
think
awkward.
that would I think that would they would not be very pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if you want to get into any panel stories or anything like that. Up to you.
No, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done as many as other people.
Yeah, I've
I
done fuck
enjoy
all.
them, but at the same time, my philosophy has always been longevity. Like I understand the appeal of smashing them, and
Mm.
I've got a few like mates who are just all about panels. For me, I like doing them, but I think like it's in moderation. Like I don't try and do them every week. There are periods where I might do one a week for like a month or 2 months, but like after that, I'm chilling for a few months.
Yeah.
Although funnily enough, I would say it's not my best anymore, but for a long time, my best panel was my first panel. And you think, like,
Same.
how's that possible?
Same.
But it's because my first one, which I do with my mate Herb, we did in which not all, you can't always get lucky, but
Mm.
I won't say how you do it. If you know, you know. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I ended up getting 40 minutes. So
Bro,
like
that's
I did a panel for 40 minutes, which now I look back on it and I'm going, fuck, if you gave me the opportunity now, like I was sitting there with a skinny cap doing cutbacks and whatnot, you know.
bro.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I did.
if you give me 40 minutes now, I will do literally like the most insane panel. But at the time, I was just like excited to be doing a panel, you know. And that was my best one for ages and ages. But now, if you give me 10 minutes, I'll do a better job than what I did in
Oh,
that 40, you know.
for
So
sure, man. Yeah, like
yeah.
one of the first ones I did was it was with an old school writer, Doe, and there was a guy that used to write I think whatever, and then he just called me up one night. I was fucking hammered, and then he's like, "Oh, come to this spot," and we went there. And I just said to him, "Mate, I got no caps. I've just got fucking
Yeah,
yeah,
classic.
just skinny caps. I think they were grey dots, man." And we get
Mm.
there, and then yeah, it laid up, and then yeah, I painted it for like that. We had like I think 30 minutes, man, and the whole time I
Yeah,
was
fuck.
filling with a grey dot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
grim. That's
and
grim.
it was only a chromie too. It was a fuck. It was like a
Oh,
matchbox. Like,
mate.
it was like
Yeah.
this big man, and then they've done like full mad colors and shit. And then I was like, fuck me, man. And then yeah, after it, my matey was like, oh yeah, I had a New Yorker. You should have just asked me. Fuck, man.
Oh, true. Unfortunate.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, I've never had long time doing stuff, but
Yeah. That's
yeah,
definitely my longest. Because I
mm,
also, me personally, like and this is like, you know, some people might go, oh, fucking, why not? You know, it's just the same as a Termo. But I tend to just not even approach yards. Like in
no, I
Sydney,
never
I
did.
just find that
No,
like,
no way.
in this day and age, like you can do them, you know, and I got heaps of mates who are pumping them and
Oh,
doing
of
really
course.
good jobs. But
Yeah,
I'm just like me personally. I don't know. I have a, kind of like a not like a kids or anything, but you know, I've got a long term girlfriend and I got a
yeah,
job, and you know, I just feel
yeah.
like why try and throw that away just to have a few extra minutes in the yard? Like I'd rather do a termo or a, you know,
Mm.
a back jump somewhere where at least there's a few more escape routes, and in my opinion, it's a bit safer in the
You're not
sense of
locked
like
into a
risk.
cage.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what. Yeah, one of the reasons why I never did it. But yeah, like
yeah,
I always wanted to. But I'm sure if someone said, "Oh, you got 100% a chance of doing one," I would have done one. But like, yeah, I don't know the more turbo things. Oh, yeah, eventually I got busted for that stuff. So yeah, yeah,
mm.
yeah, we'll just move on from that one.
Fair enough. Fair
but
enough. You know, traumatic memories, mate.
yeah, let's just put it like yeah, I almost yeah. But it's funny like once you get busted for that stuff. I've had other mates get busted for stuff, and then they just don't want to paint ever again. It's like a PTSD thing, and I think,
Yeah.
bro, as soon as I got busted, man, it was. Then I realized, like, fuck, man, I didn't want to go into canals. I didn't want to do anything unless it was like 100% legal on the council,
Mm.
like you know what I mean. And then yeah, eventually you get roped into it, mate. It's like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
come on, just come down for one little piece, and then you go down and you're like, yeah, it's all sweet, no one's chasing me, all good.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then you're back again. And it's like
Yeah.
fuck,
That's it.
three
Almost like it
hundred
never
pieces
happened.
later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, how many pieces do you reckon you've done?
Oh fuck! Not that many in the grand scheme of things. I
You got
remember
you got
seeing
photos of everything?
of almost everything. However, I don't have it in like an album. I had an album for a while.
Bro.
Then when I was doing a lot of that sort of like train stuff, when I had a heavy sort of few months of it, I ended up like removing my album. However, I've got pretty much digital photos of everything. So I've got a hard
Yeah.
drive with everything on there. It's just it's not like a printed album, and there's probably some gaps missing where I need to update it from like phone photos, which I've also got backed up. It's just that it's
Yeah.
not like a one giant folder of everything. They're all kind of in different spots. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to print those off, man, because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's different like flicking through your phone and like oh here's a photo, but when you actually have like an actual photo album and you're looking at it,
Yeah,
man,
mate.
it just
Yeah.
brings like a different like emotion onto like you fucking remember stuff and you sit there and you look at it more than just going like doop 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 and moving on to the
Exactly.
next
And
one.
you can always write on the back of them as well. Like I remember every time
Times,
I saw
dates.
like a, yeah, every time I saw like a sort of someone's album, usually it was like a sort of an older writer who showed me their album, I would just be in awe. Like it was
Yeah,
like
that's why you need to do it, man.
flick
So
through it and it'd be
you can
heavy.
show the
Yeah,
younger
yeah,
generation from you photo albums, man. They're the best. Like
exactly. Yeah.
I'll go to a party and like a house, like a mate's house for a barbecue or whatever,
Mm.
and I'll bring around like, bro, I got like fucking 5 albums. Like because
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
printed off every piece of mine until probably about 2 years ago. I've just got my phone's full of them, but yeah, just if you print them off, man, just having that solid album,
yeah,
and
yeah.
at least because I had a problem where my email got hacked into, and then
Oh,
they
true.
fucked up my my what's it called, the iCloud kind of thing, and I couldn't get into my iCloud. But before that actually happened, I saved all my shit onto an external hard drive. So
Yeah,
lucky I
true,
did that.
true.
Otherwise, I would have
Mm,
lost, bro. I would have lost like probably about 50 pieces, man. Like, and
mm.
bro, I would have been then you have to go ask all your mates and just all that bullshit. But
Yeah, exactly.
you're better off, man. Like, yeah, from my opinion, man, go and print off as much as you can. At least you got that solid thing. Whereas, if eventually if the grid goes down or some shit and you lose all your fucking shit and you can't use your hard drive, at least you got a solid memory of your photos.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but you
I
should
agree.
definitely,
I think I just need to take a few days to just do it, you know? Like I feel like
yeah,
I started for a bit and then it was more like I didn't have a place to put it because I didn't want to keep it at my house, you know, because it's like
yeah.
it is pretty
You
incriminating
got
in
to
a way.
bury it.
Like
You got to bury
yeah,
the
yeah,
cunt.
yeah, exactly.
Find
So I
or a
almost
roof
need to
space,
like
cut a
yeah,
hole in your
yeah,
roof and just
I
chuck
know.
it up in there.
Yeah,
But
so I feel like that's definitely on the cards for when I get a bit of free time. I'll have to sit down and properly print them because I have
and
everything. I have like all my first ones. I have like
yeah,
everything. I think I must have
oh, that's
only
good,
lost
man.
a few of them, and I think like there was, I think was it last year or the year before? There was a year where I really did a lot of pieces.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
saw
Yeah,
this thing. Saw this thing that Soffels said where he got really good. He said in a, I think it was in a podcast or something similar. He said he did a piece every day for a year.
yeah,
I didn't get
that's
there. Like
wild.
honestly, I didn't get there, but that really inspired me. So I did like a lot of piecing that year. And, you know, some days I'd try and do 3 pieces, you know, even if I didn't do a piece the day before or whatever, I try and smash out 3, even if they weren't full amazing pieces. It was just like paint as much as I can,
Mm.
just do as many colors as I can, whatever. And that year I painted heaps. And I think that really helped. Just like,
It
yeah,
elevates you
yeah,
so much, man. Because I remember during COVID, I was doing like what was it called? It was like a piece a day kind of thing, similar
yeah,
to
yeah.
what he did. And yeah, I just like kind of glad wrapped my fucking the
Mm,
poles in my backyard or whatever. And at the time, yeah, the paint was pretty cheap. And then I was
yeah,
getting box
oath,
loads
yeah.
sent over, and had a kid. And while they were sleeping, I was just like, bro, I was doing like 3 pieces a day. I was sketching.
Yeah, nice,
I was
nice.
doing other kinds. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was doing
Yeah,
like
yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah.
other people's tags and stuff. And my like letter form just fucking just went from like here to fucking like here, and I was just like,
Mm, mm,
so it's repetition, man. Like everyone says it, but like it's just when you
mm.
actually do it, man, you don't realize. Like even now, like I don't get to paint as much anymore because of kids and all the rest of it. Trying to find and this fucking podcasting, which is taking my fucking life, bro. This is fucking bullshit, man. I'm doing fucking like 3 podcasts a week at the moment, and
Right,
it's
smashing it.
and but yeah, like I don't know. Once you stop, sketching's really important. Like there was a time where I felt like I was so good that I could just like rock up to the wall and freestyle it. But then you freestyle it, and then it's not the same unless you have like a physical sketch there.
I
So and
I
also if
would
you,
disagree though. I would
oh
disagree.
yeah,
At
okay,
least me, when I started, I was the very religious, have a sketch and copy it
mm.
exactly. And I remember I'd do a sketch, it wouldn't be perfect. Like it'd be pretty much 90%, but I'd miss 10% of it. Like I'd be so mad and I'd just scribble out the whole wall and start again.
Okay,
But
yeah,
I actually checked this on my phone the other day because I did a sketch I quite liked, I think last week. And so I looked at my phone, I went, when was the last time I've sketched? And I went back and back and back. Turns out the last picture of another sketch I did was February last year. So I hadn't
you've
sketched in
been
a year.
painting constantly though, right?
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I freestyle everything now.
yeah.
Maybe I'll use a sketch once in a while, but like I would say like the freestyling has really helped me because when I rely
Yeah.
on a sketch, I'm too stiff. Whereas when I freestyle, I kind of use like elements of every sketch that I've got in my mind and I kind of like do a sketch as I go kind of thing. And that's
Okay,
been like
yeah,
real handy for me personally. I find like freestyling and then doing other letters and doing other words like has improved me more than if I just sketched at home every night. Because that's what I used to do. I used
yeah,
to sketch like every day and everything. And now it's just like rock up to a wall, and it might be slightly similar to
and
my last piece,
bust
but I
out a
tweak it
fucking
every time.
burner.
Yeah. That's the idea, Just try and
Yeah,
make it a little bit better than last time, a little bit different,
yeah.
And some of
You're
them
a bit
don't
more.
work.
You're a bit more fucking artistic than me, man. I'm a bit more of a like. This is my paint schedule. This is my time. This
Oh,
is
yep,
my
yep,
sketch that I
yep.
have, and I have to do this. And if it doesn't work out in my order, I get the shits, and then I just go fuck this. But I still finish the piece, even though I'm doing a shit one. Like I don't think I've never capped my own piece, or like heaps of cunts do it. They'll start off with whatever letters, and then halfway through they'll just cap it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Show
Yeah,
some grit,
yeah.
show
I
some
used to do
grit,
that.
and
I
just
used to
get
do
in
that.
there and fucking finish it. Even if it looks shit,
Yeah.
I'll still take a photo of it, chuck it in my album, and then you can look back and go, here was my points where I was good, and then here's one shit piece, and then look at the next piece. It's fucking 20 times better. Because I know for me, I'm more of like a scheduled person, so it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, if I'm not scheduled that day, that's why I paint so quick and can't get the shits at me for doing it. But
Mm, mm.
that's just the way I paint, man. It works out better for me if I'm more
Yeah,
organized.
if it works for
But
you, man. Yeah.
yeah, but that's another thing as well with you saying that you just rock up to the wall and just think of stuff. That's probably like if I did have more time to paint, I probably would go down that route. But at the moment now, it's just so busy with my life. It's just like I've got to get in and get out and just do that. But if
Yeah,
yeah, when I
yeah.
do have more time, I guess I'm going to take your approach and fucking try and do something different. You know what I mean?
I didn't jump from that overnight. Like I
Hmm.
sort of, it was bit by bit, like it was like I had sketches every time. I'd have color schemes every time. I'd have it all down to the
Oh,
T
okay.
of like exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Then one day I might forgot my sketch, or, you know, I decide I want to try a slightly different sketch, but I'd still have my strict color scheme. Then one day I'd kind of run out of a certain color, and it would be like, oh, now I've got to make an on the fly adjustment, to my
Mm.
scheme. And I quite enjoyed that. And so now I won't even pick a scheme. I will literally go, because I'm fortunate enough where I do a lot of mural work. So I've got a lot of paint at home. So I'll just go at home and pack like one or two of almost every color. And then I'm really, really, really big on buff fills. Like I love using buff
Yeah.
underneath everything because it's cheap, and also it kind of dictates how my piece is going to go, Like I pick
Mm.
some buff, and if it's purple, I kind of know like the kind of tones that I want to lay on top of that. And so I just pick almost like one or two of every color, throw it into my bag, and then off I go. Like this is for a chill wall. If I'm doing a trackside, usually I plan it out. But
Yeah.
like for a chill wall, I'll literally just pack all my paint and I'll rock up, and then it kind of is like however I'm feeling. It could even be the pieces next to me, so it's not the same, or what I have the most of, or what the nicest paint brand I have I want to use the least. You know what I mean? So I'll kind
Yeah.
of switch it up that way, and that way I always come up with some like weird scheme every time that I haven't necessarily done exactly before, which I quite
Yeah.
like doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed like your like when you do your like monochrome, like same colors, but in your fills, outlines, and backgrounds, man, you work it out so well, man. Like I think the last time we painted, you did like a blue style, and
Oh,
man,
yep, yep.
fuck, man, like I've tried to do it before, but I probably should just get my photo and just turn it monochrome, and then just copy what's on the
Pretty
monochrome photo.
much, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
look at it, I'm
the
like, fuck,
way
how can I think of that?
the way I've been looking at it recently is like, and this, I guess, funnily enough, the more and more you look at like older sort of 90s and 80s stuff, which I wasn't even around there, but I actually look at that now and I'm realizing I'm kind of doing some of the similar stuff, is
Yeah, man, your
like
colors are similar.
rather than just using like what I used to do is just do a classic, fade from top to bottom and then details on
Mm.
top. And then now what I've realized is like, because I paint with like I like a really thick, crisp outline on top, as I can make my fill be sort of anything. Like I can play
Yeah,
with like 100 different colors, and I almost look at my fill itself as like its own artwork.
yeah,
Like
I've
if
noticed
if I
that.
put if I just start right, and if I put red in my bottom left of my piece,
Yeah,
I'll put red in the top right of my piece. So I'm always
yeah,
trying to like evenly lay the colors, and then it kind of
yeah,
just develops itself. Like you put red here, red there. Then you go, oh, there's a bit too much reds. Then you might lay a bit of pink on there to lighten it up. And
Yeah,
then over time, you kind of just run out of space, and it's just like, okay, I think it's ready for the outline now, And
yeah.
then
It feels
throw a
feels
few
a
shines on it, and yeah,
feels a yeah. It doesn't seem like much, but when you actually, it's taken me years to figure out how to do like cuts and stuff in the fills, like trying to
Mm.
match up. Because if you do, yeah, like you said, if you do one color on one side, you fucking have to do it on the other side. You can't just be like one color here on the corner, nothing on the other side. It's just a random. It looks so you're pretty much just
Yeah.
doing a leftover paint fill, whatever. But yeah, I've noticed that in the last probably 10 years, just trying to get those cuts and the colors right together to try and match it all up it's a fucking skill in itself, man. So yeah,
Mm.
it's
And it
people that can
depends
do
on your
really good
letters as
fills.
well. Depends on your
Yeah,
letters, I would say. Like you look at some people, like even someone like Byro, right? He's got quite a very not organic, but it's a very different style than like the generic sort of Sydney style.
yeah,
He kind of does very kind of like kind of LA kind of style with that sort of semi calligraphy, but you can't
yeah,
really fill in the same way as you can with, you know, someone like Zombie. Like if you took
yeah,
Zombie's fill and put on Byro's piece, it
yeah. It
would
doesn't
look
look. Yeah, it's
it,
look
it would
wrong.
just look too different. And so
Yeah,
I think it's totally up to like your letters, and like I like sketching in a very symmetrical way. So I fill
same.
in a very symmetrical way. And I also like contrast, because I paint such clean lines. I think if I
Yeah,
did a fill that was completely clean and crisp and all straight lines, it might look good, but I like going purposefully a little bit messy in my fill and
yeah,
having like roller lines showing and having
yeah.
like, yeah, some sort of messiness. So then when you put in those crisp lines on top, it kind of like
Yeah,
has that nice
it makes the
contrast to it.
outline pop more too, right? If the fill looks a bit messy and you got a couple of
Yeah.
bright lines, like yeah, I like how you do like the squiggle with the fat cap, and then it flares off,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you have like the mad outline, like the clean outline. It kind of makes that messy fill, like it blends in, like it looks sick. Yeah, I like what you're doing, man. It's fucking sick.
No,
But
thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
so how'd you get into the mural space?
Kind of like when I was in Sydney, kind of finishing high school, I started to think about what I wanted to do, and I didn't really have anything that screamed out at me. I didn't really want to do a trade at the time. I didn't really,
What work were you doing at the time? Like what were your jobs?
just in an ice rink. Like I only had
Oh,
one
okay.
job, which I
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
for like 4 or 5 years because
Okay.
I lived close to there. I skated really well, and it paid extremely well for the age. Like
Yeah.
paid way above what any other sort of 14
Yeah,
year old's
cool.
job could do.
Yeah.
And then anyway, yeah, I sort of finished high school and was like, oh, what can I do? This was, I think I was still in high school at the time. So I put out an ad on Facebook because I was doing a bit of like painting, kind of where I would do a lot of black and white portraits and then I'd have graffiti letters around them. And so I just thought, oh, I'll put an ad on Facebook Marketplace and, have a picture of this portrait, which it wasn't very good, but, it wasn't horrible either. And I just said, look, I'll paint you a mural. And I think I did 2 or 3 jobs off of Facebook like that. Probably the biggest one I had was like $750, and I had to pay my
That's
mate Science to come and help me.
that's pretty
Um,
good though.
yeah,
Fuck.
but like at the time I was in high school, I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is this is sweet, like hell yeah,
Fucking
like
oath.
it's working. And so I thought, oh, there's something to this. But that kind of fizzled out a little bit. And then I ended up moving to Canberra for university. Because my girlfriend also did university there, and so we just moved down there. Um,
Yeah.
and this is where it was just took a really random turn where I was doing sort of little jobs here and there. I didn't really have my own business. I think I was at the time trading just under Soroe, like, and I do little restaurants and cafes and that type of thing. And then Fibs came to town and did that festival in Canberra,
Yeah,
where I got
man.
a wall on that, which was that was an awesome event. Like shout out to Fibs for that. That was
Fuck
a
yeah,
great
man. Phoebes,
time.
Phoebes is a killer, man. He's
Mm.
yeah.
He also did a mural at my high school, so that was cool to see him there, and I sort of helped out with that, and it was just cool to see that like a graph writer has made this like their career, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. And then I was contracted in Canberra to do like a workshop for a government workshop with a bunch of kids.
Uh
Um,
did they Did the council give out like a grant or a competition thing where you could send in your work and then they give you like 25 grand, or I don't know how much it was. They had a budget or
No, no,
whatever,
no.
and
This
then
was
whoever was that the one? Is that the one you're
no, no.
talking
This
about?
was just like this was like a random. So in Canberra, in kind of near the city, there's a park where they have all these markets and stuff called Hague Park. And there was just an event where there was like painting. It was a big canvas wrapped around a bunch of trees, and so
Mm.
I was contracted alongside this other guy to just paint stuff with the kids. And at the time, I had just finished because I ended up dropping out of university. I thought just thought it was a bit of a rip off. I was doing visual arts there.
Waste of
Um,
time, man. Look at you now.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And instead, I ended up doing TAFE, like visual arts at TAFE. But that way, I had a bit of a piece of paper. And at the time, I had finished my TAFE, and so I was looking for a job, right? And I was doing this random mural workshop, and this other guy who was also working there, we sort of got chatting because I think he saw that I was pretty good at the painting side of things, and he was telling me, yeah, I've just got a contract for these big government murals, and I'm looking for an assistant, and I was like, oh, I'm looking for a job, and so then yeah, I ended up doing that with him for 2 years, just full time, just painting like big government nature sort of based stuff around
Laurie
Canberra.
Keats.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was like a bit of everything, but I was essentially just the sort of like, I'm kind of just the guy who does all the background. So I just rock up, I get the image and, we work
Yeah,
together and I do most of the backgrounds and he works on the sort of birds and the animals and all that. And then, yeah, like for me, it
yeah,
was great. It was like for my age, it was a very relatively good paying sort of full time gig that was quite flexible too. And it was like you do all sorts of cool jobs for all clients. And
yeah,
at the same time, I was doing my own mural business as well. Like I do a lot of jobs in Sydney and in Canberra. I do a lot of restaurants and whatnot. So it was just
yeah,
nice to do that for a while. Yeah.
yeah. It beats having a 9 to 5 job, right?
Yeah. However, I would say, and this is not for everyone, but in the last like year, even that guy who had me full time, he was even thinking of going back to his trade.
Really?
Everyone else I know in Canberra, at least, that was full time, has really been struggling. I I was getting like a fair turnover from my own mural business. Nothing like full time, but I was getting like a job a month.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's all dead. So I think with the economy at the moment, like that's
Was
why
that
I
was
I,
that
I stepped
after
away.
was that after COVID probably because people aren't
No,
spending as
this was
much
this is
money
quite
now, or
recently. This was I would say this is
yeah, okay,
actually this year. Like I was doing these murals till December last year, and then this year I've had to totally step away from it because there hasn't been the work. Like I've had to just do different work, because it's the
yeah,
mural stuff
okay,
just has slowed to a halt because I think all the businesses are struggling and why
yeah.
would you spend 10 grand on a mural
When you're
when your
struggling,
business is struggling? You might as well just
yeah,
deal with your costs and, bring them down rather than investing at this time because it's just
yeah,
kind of a bad time to be spending on a mural.
yeah. Get your own brushes out and do it yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's what I found is like I haven't had much work, and the work that I have had is like only either government work because that doesn't slow down as much, or
Yeah,
the budgets have just been cut. Like everything's just been like, yeah, we want you to paint this, but we got not much money, and I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
I'm just going to focus on a different career path because this is not really going to work. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've changed your opinion now? You're gonna change into something
Yeah,
else?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like
really?
I mean, it's still like it'd be a dream to do murals full time, but I think it's not realistic. Like I've got rent to pay. Like I can't
Yeah.
really sit here and just hope that the work's going to come in. So yeah, I've been doing like different sort of stuff now. I sort of work like in two sort of different industries at the moment, but completely separate from murals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the times will change. Oh, I'm hoping it'll change, but
Mm.
at the moment everyone's just struggling, man. Even the company I work for now, man, they were fucking quiet as for the first start of the year. So you're not in the. It's not you're not different to everyone else, man. Everyone's struggling at the moment. Inflation, all that bullshit. But
Oh, totally. And I think it
everyone's
will
just
pick up again. It will pick up
yeah,
again, but I just think it's like for me personally, I think it's not good for me to just rely on that. I
yeah,
just thought
yeah,
like
no,
it's good to just move on and keep that in the back pocket. And when
yeah,
the jobs come, I've got my website still going and everything, and
yeah,
the jobs will come back and I'll be able to do them a bit later.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think if you just keep at it in the artistic side of things, like how do you even get into? Like I've seen your biro even the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the little zine you did that I went and picked up off you one time, man. Like, how'd
yeah,
you
yeah,
get it?
yeah.
Like the little, what was it, a Tangara that you drew on there or something,
Yeah,
man?
yeah, yeah. It
In
was, I think I
Biro,
did 3 trains. Yeah, the Biro stuff.
bro, fucking
I
sick,
don't
man.
know.
Like, how
Everyone
the where?
always,
So you like how did you? Because I can't draw to save my fucking life. So I don't
I
know
think,
how you must have been pretty artistic. You like
yeah, I
most of your
mean,
life, right? Like, how'd you get
I
into
just
that?
like within when the start of high school happened, I had a quite a good art teacher at high school.
Ah,
And
that's an important part.
I don't know. I just feel like I really enjoyed drawing like things from references. Like if you told me, "Oh, draw like a character just off the top of my head," I can do it, but like it's not my strong suit. No
Yeah,
chance.
I
Like
can't do it at all, man. I can copy
yeah, like
stuff. I just can't draw it off the top of my head. It's weird.
yeah, like that's the thing. You've got to learn that too. You've got to put in the work. But I really enjoy the process of just copying something. But I don't know. I think it was just that like I started off just using pencil, obviously, and then from there I'd always just be doodling stuff, at school. Just be like drawing with your pen, and then I just started trying more and more realistic. I just draw little flowers and whatever. I just try and do a little bit of shading. I'd even just do graph pieces where I'd like do all my fill in, like my fades and my bubbles and all that I'd do with the ballpoint. And then eventually I was like, oh, why don't I have a crack at this? Like I can do it in pencil. So who's to say I can't just do it with a ballpoint pen?
Yeah,
And I actually find it way nicer because it's like you can't erase. So like you really have to like think about what you're doing, and each layer is like you once you do it, it's done. You're not erasing. So you can only go so dark, and then it's done. So it's really like a
yeah.
different way of
You can't go
drawing,
back on
but
it, eh? Once it's
nah,
done,
nah,
you
nah.
can. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was quite fun. It's very time intensive though. Like I would say, if you were to fill a whole A4 piece of paper, at least at my speed of doing it, it
yeah,
would probably take you like 10 hours or something, like
yeah, man.
to do some
Yeah.
like realistic shit. So yeah, and
Even,
also finding the right pens as well. Like some pens are pretty trash for it. Like I went through like 3 or 4 brands before I was like settled on just a classic Bic pen. I actually
I
think
was
they
gonna,
do quite well.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say, what about a big pen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at first I was using cheaper ones, and then I moved to more expensive ones, and then I was like, you know what, the traditional Bic pen,
Really?
like it does well. And I did
No
a
way.
piece for an exhibition which
What? Just
was
the ball
just
big
a
pen, the standard
classic Bic
fucking.
pen, nothing,
That's
just a
fucking
standard.
funny.
And
Wow.
I had a quite a funny moment because I did this big work for an exhibition, which was like I want to say it was like A0 or A1, like it was pretty big, like way bigger than A3. And I remember I did it, and I thought I was going to use 10 Bic pens, so I bought a whole giant pack. And I finished the thing. I used 1.5 pens, like that's it. Like I thought, like
This is the cheapest
fucking, I
art
thought,
gallery in the world.
I know, and on top of that, and I actually kept the pen because I thought, I don't know, I know, I'm sure some people who does a lot of like essay writing and stuff probably finished a big pen, but usually you lose a pen before you finish it. And I looked
Yeah.
at this pen, I was like, fuck, I don't think I've ever finished a pen,
We still got some
and I had
juice.
this,
We can do another gallery
fuck,
with the same
mate,
pen and save 50
I know.
cents.
No, this one was well and truly like empty. Like there was nothing left. It was fucking dry. Like yeah,
That's
I
fucking
finished the big
funny,
pen. I
bro.
was like, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
and
hilarious.
now from that, I've also like me and Chorus did a wall in Ashfield where we did sort of like big pen style. We just
I've
buffed the
seen
wall
it.
white,
Yeah, that's fucking
and then we
sick,
we
man.
only we only bought one color of loop, and we just used that color. And so since then, I've been doing that a lot because I feel like it's sort of the same vibe. I quite like the actual look of it. Like I think it's an interesting sort of aesthetic of that sort of white and blue. And it's
Yeah,
quite
man.
easy. Like it doesn't cost much. You can fill up a whole wall. Like, yeah, we had to
Yeah,
buy a lot of the blue, but we didn't really use much white. Like we genuinely just used a lot of blue, because you had white underneath, and each line is so deliberate. You almost don't really need much white on top. So
yeah,
yeah, I'd love to do one of those, but like 2 stories tall. That's like my project would be to get a permission wall that's a few stories tall. I'll put the money in to hire a scissor lift. I've got my tickets for it, and
yeah.
then
Fucking oath.
I can do a big 2 story big pen wall. That'd be so cool. Yeah,
Yeah. If anyone's out there that wants a fucking mad mural done by Sorrow,
yeah. That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
hit me up and I'll put you in line. Actually, I'll put you in the description anyway. But yeah, I'll put your
Yeah.
page and
So
stuff in there. But fucking get onto him, mate. Give the man some business. He needs the
I've
business. Come on.
that's it. That's it.
Fuck, man. How'd you How did you get into that? Like the magazine thing that you, it was a little
Yeah.
magazine, right?
So
Like, what was the
yeah,
process with that? Because it's fucking. I've just heard from everyone it's a fucking nightmare. But what
It is a bit of a nightmare. It is a bit of a nightmare. Me personally, as I said before, I grew up on reading a lot of interview books and
mm,
magazines about graph writers because that was a good way for me. Who I didn't really meet them. I did meet a lot of older dudes Dogfight from Adelaide, I think he is, or
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Oh,
he's from
I think
Sydney
he
originally.
moved down there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he was like the first guy to take me for a paint, but he was
That's
probably like
cool.
one of the only guys I met for a while. So a lot of the stories I had was from interviews and, you know, books and stuff. And so I thought I want to do that. But again, I realized that there's a few problems with that. Like, firstly, I'm young, so I can't really go and do a deep dive book on Sydney's history. I just think it's not my place. You know what I mean? Like, there is some advantage to it, but also I feel like you need someone to tell the story who's actually lived through that time. I
Yeah,
could document it, but I don't think it's right for me to be interviewing people. You know what I mean?
yeah. True. Yeah, true. That's
However,
smart of you. Yeah,
I still wanted to make like this book. And my other problem was I wanted to take a sort of snapshot of who was actually painting at the time, but also I realized that I kind of had to use people who were also popular at the time,
yeah,
not necessarily the biggest bombers, but people who were popular because I realized that if I wanted to get the book out there and get it known, I needed to rely on some popular writers to be in it and share it. And also,
yeah,
I also just interviewed people who I enjoyed their style because I thought I enjoy them, so I'm gonna like feature them, you know, and other people might also enjoy them.
yeah.
And I had made one before, but not about graph. It was about like just underground drains because I like going through all the underground systems and
Oh, yeah,
painting them, but also just exploring them, you know. And
yeah.
so I had done one about where I took all the photos on like a film camera, like an old analog photo, um, and that was good fun. It wasn't well printed. It was poorly printed, you know. And so this one, I thought I want to do a better job. I want to get printed better. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, the printing process is I don't know, from what I've heard, it's fucking hard to find someone that's good
It's
and
challenging.
prints it all good.
I would say I probably got 25 quotes. Like
Fuck.
I got a lot of quotes.
25. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
because the thing is, it's
Like,
actually not that hard to get quotes. Once you know, because I kind of got the quotes when I was almost done. I didn't get them at the very start. I almost got them when I had at least an idea of how many pages I made, if it
yeah,
was going to be color, black and white, what size, what type
yeah.
of binding, because the binding really
Quality of
changes the
paper.
exactly. And so, firstly, what I did was like I got samples, so you can get free sample packs from printers,
Oh,
and they'll
really?
send you like samples of I told them I wanted a magazine of like this type, blah, blah, blah. And so some of them, not all of them, some of them actually sent me similar magazines they had made for clients so I could actually see how good their binding and their gluing was.
And you would have
Um,
picked the one that you've actually had a copy in your hand of, right?
exactly. And on
Yeah,
top of that, I was on a budget. It was my first ever one. I didn't know how many
of
copies I
course.
was going to sell.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a huge, you know, amount of money to invest. And so I was fortunate enough where I pulled the student card. I rang up the guy. I said, "Oh, mate, you know, I'm a
We got no money,
student, like,
man.
I got no money," and he actually cut me a pretty good deal. I wanna say he
Fuck
gave me
yeah.
20% off or something. I
Sick.
saved no, maybe more. I wanna say he gave me, like, 50% off. Like, I actually saved
Wow.
over a grand in printing from this bloke.
Wow.
So I thought, "Oh, this is prime," you know? And then obviously you pay for a sample and they send you a sample, one sample. Checked it over. I was happy with it. You know, it could have been better, but I thought to myself, it's cheap. Like my copies were landed under $10, which was
Wow.
quite good because that gave me a bit of breathing room in the sense that like I
Yeah.
could then sell it to a graph shop because I thought I wanted to sell a lot myself, but I like the idea of going into a graph shop and buying it. Like I love going into
Yeah.
shops and buying books
Also
around the world.
supporting the business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The people that start graffiti shops and stuff, they're doing it
Mm.
tough too, man. So
Exactly,
I suppose
exactly.
if you give it to a shop, you got to at least take a little bit of a hit for that. But at least if
Yeah,
you know, it
yeah.
kind of leaves a little bit of a legacy for you too, right? Like at least you've
And
said
here's
like
the
you can.
thing, right? Like, if your book or magazine you'll sell to a shop for $25 and they sell it for 30,
Yeah,
it's stupid, right? They're
yeah,
making
it's not
$5 a
worth it for
copy,
them.
unless they're selling millions, you know.
Yeah,
So because the cost to make them was so low, I could sell them to a shop for half of the retail value, which is approximately what people sell, wholesale price to shops is about half.
Yeah.
And yet I was still making enough money for it not to be throwing away the books,
Yeah. That's
like
mad.
I would still be making money, which was quite good. And so I was fortunate enough that enough shops were interested. And I even got a few reorders from some shops that sold out. So,
Yeah, that's
that was
sick.
nice. And also, I wanted to do everything myself. I know some people go through publishers, but I thought
Yeah.
because this is so low quantity, I'll do it all myself. And I was running out of like a dorm room at university. I
Yeah.
was packaging them all. I had all custom envelopes printed, and I'd go to the post office every day. The ladies would know me, and they're like, "Oh, hello, you got more today?" I'd
Yeah.
drop them piles of it. And yeah, like I would say that's how I would do it if I would to say to someone that wanted to start their own thing. I'd say do your research, but also
Mm.
don't like waste too much money getting some shipping company or getting some company to do it. Just it's pretty cheap to do it yourself. Once you've got the
Yeah.
books, I went to a bit of effort, and some of them I had custom envelopes printed with all the tags of everyone on the front. But after that, I switched to plain envelopes. But it was pretty cheap. Like you can post it for, I think, $5 with shipping, you
Yeah.
know, and then once you factor that into your price, I was offering free shipping, but still, it's only a $5 hit on $30 magazine, so you can still make fairly decent money. Not that I made heaps of money, but
Mm.
I did have enough demand where I did a reorder. I actually went back to the printer and I reordered more, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, I think overall I must have sold, I want to say around 350 copies. So
Wow.
like a fair amount, which I was
Yeah,
very
that's
surprised. I
good,
think
man.
I ordered about 150 or 200 to begin with, and then I ordered another 150,
No
which
way. That's
yeah,
sick,
was
man.
good, which was really good. Yeah, and I think
That's
it helped
cool.
that, for example, right, you interview someone like I interviewed Set, and Set had a pretty big Instagram following. So
Oh
did like
yeah.
Zombie and
Yeah.
Freak. And so
He's an old
once you
school
interview
king.
them, yeah. And I also on purpose, I made sure that everyone, I made sure like I was not taking any like I'll give it to you for $5. I made sure that every writer involved had a free copy. Like
Yeah.
in a perfect world, I could pay them, but for the project like that, I think it's like as a writer, you kind of expect not to get paid. And so I thought at
Yeah.
least I'll give them a free copy,
Yeah.
for their time. And yeah, like gave them a free copy. It took a hit for me because I had to give out, 25 free copies essentially with shipping. But
Yeah.
then at least once they all received it and they put it on their Instagram,
And they're
their
happy.
audience could then see my work, because if I just posted it, I didn't have a big audience. Whereas when they saw it and they posted it, it sort of helped because their audience went, "Oh, I want to read an interview of this writer because I quite like them," and then they would then get the book. And so I think that's a fairly good way to do it, is to have like a writer or two in a project where they can help you start to build that momentum,
Of
and it's a
course.
kind of a win as well because them getting interviewed helps their sort of audience, and it's nice. People like sharing. Like I like sharing sort of stuff that I
Yeah.
do, and it's always good.
Well, yeah, I don't have like a magazine to give you, but I mean, I can give you the video of this.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm trying to.
exactly.
That's what
It's
I'm trying to.
fine.
I'm trying to figure out at the moment what to do with this fucking podcast, man. Because I've got like 15 lined up already. I've done.
Yeah.
You're my seventh guest,
Oh,
and
lovely.
just trying to like figure out all the because man, I'm running off fucking Amazon shit. Like it's just. I don't like yeah. I'd like to spend the money on, but I don't have it. So it's like
Yeah, yeah,
if anyone
exactly.
wants
You
to
do it on the
share
cheap,
my
man.
yeah, if anyone wants to share the videos, obviously people like you with a big following, whatever wants to share the story, and then I can finally get some good equipment, and then we can do this chat again and make it even
Mm,
bigger.
mm.
That's kind of my goal, man. Like I just want to because so I'm gonna post the video the audio on Spotify. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna for the video, if anyone wants to see me having a couple of beers and looking at my cat mask, or
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
can pay whatever it's gonna be, and then at least it filters out some of the shit cunts too. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just see where it goes, and hopefully I can promote. Like I've got three mad. We got what do we? Oh, here we go. Wenzy, Tav, Edgel, and then eventually I want to have like my whole wall filled with artists that I know. Like you should probably
Yeah, oath,
send
oath.
me an artwork and I'll put it up, and then I'm gonna post everyone's artworks in my background on my Spotify, and then post the links of their Instagram, and then they can get some business off that, and then we
Yeah,
can all
that's
make money.
awesome.
We can all make money together, man. That's the whole thing. I want to give back to the graffiti community, who've really like. I mean, graffiti's pretty much saved my life, man. Like, there's a couple of
Mm.
times where I've been down in the dumps and stuff, and then just going out and doing a piece with my mates, man. It really brings me back to life, and it kind of like when you're doing a piece, it kind of like you just stop everything out of your mind, all the bullshit going on in your life, do your piece, and you're just in the zone. You know, you're talking with your mates, like it's really saved my life. So I want to kind of give back to everyone and back to the business, even like BSP, shout out.
Yeah, shout out
Mate,
BSP. Here we go.
yeah, man. Oh, look out.
Shout
He's
out
got the
BSP,
can.
mate.
Doesn't that can shrink into a keychain? I've heard.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too, but I haven't tried it, you know.
You got to put some water on it, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for real though, shout out like
Yeah.
yeah, Goose with BSP,
Yeah, man.
also putting
He's,
on for the riders and doing a lot of good
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, no, that's cool, man. So, um, is there, like, actually, where do you see yourself going from here with like your business and you know, obviously you're working for you're probably working for someone else at the moment, trying to get some money to
Yeah,
survive,
yeah.
like and doing little things on the side and that. Where do you see yourself going? Do you see yourself staying in the mural
Well,
market and trying to make it bigger, or what are you thinking?
physically I've planned, and you know, this might not happen, but it's in the works. I'm thinking of moving to Europe for a year or so.
Oh wow,
So that's probably going to happen sometime next year, because obviously I've got French citizenship, so I
well, you
can
can go
work over
anywhere.
there. Yeah, yeah, which is great. But I don't know. I'm just thinking like change of pace and do some work over there, do some travel, because you know I went to Europe last year, did a lot of painting there, and I had a blast. And I think it'd just be good to get over there for like a longer period of time. Yeah, one of my mates from Canberra, Moak, he lived over there and he had a great time. And then you know I just think it'd be a good experience. And then after that, when I get back, then I'll probably think about seriously what I want to do, because I'm thinking of probably retraining and doing something completely new, like either
Oh
a
really?
trade or going back to university. But I'm thinking of, yeah, really like when I get back, settling down and picking
Yeah,
something and just going into it and having the murals as like a side thing, which,
yeah,
you know, you never know. Maybe one day, you know, they might get real popular and I might do a lot, and then I'll slowly snowball and be able to do that full time. But for the moment, I think, yeah, focus on like settling down when I get back from Europe and studying or doing an apprenticeship or something like that, where I can, you know, just have a career that's more consistent.
I think the way that the world's going at the moment with AI and stuff, I think trade's probably the good idea, mate. Because I
Yeah,
think all
exactly,
these computer
exactly.
things are
Yeah,
gonna fuck everybody.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
anyone.
I've been tossing up basically like as between carpentry, because one of my hobbies is woodworking. I build heaps of like
Perfect.
timber, like boxes and shit. And I currently work in a similar field doing like furniture sort of restoration sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But my other option is teaching, because I've always wanted to be a school art teacher, because my art teacher
Oh, cool.
basically, I wouldn't be doing what I do without like that teacher.
Yeah.
Like shout out to her, because my parents are very like academic, and I never thought you could do art as a job, you know. And she
Yeah.
said to me, no, no, you can, you know. And she showed me examples, and I was like, oh fuck, all right, that's why I'm gonna pursue art. And that's what I did because of her. So I feel like I'd like to be an art teacher sort of one day.
Yeah. So the art teacher thing is really cool. How you want to go back and give back to the art community too. With someone who pretty much developed your life in the mural space and the artwork. And it's funny because yeah, when I was in year 10, I think it was, I loved art. I fucking loved it so much, man. Like doing all the like practical stuff. But my teacher was more like he wanted me to do like the historical stuff, like the French paintings and like the like Italian paintings or whatever like that. But all the historical theory side of things. And he pushed it onto me so much that I just fucking got out of it. I just went, I'm like,
Mm.
you can see how good I am at art, but you're focusing on my like my theory work, and he kind of fucking pushed me off, man. I just canned it in year 10. I was like, fuck this shit, like. But
I think that's the
you obviously had
problem.
a great teacher, and mine was fucking terrible, man. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it kind of
I
pissed me
think
off, man.
overall, it really depends on your teacher and whatnot, because I know some people, and this can be for university, for school, whatever, but I know teachers exactly like that, where it's like, if you want to succeed, you've got to paint this, you've got to talk like this, you've got to paint like this, you got to, you know, whereas my teacher was quite good at, you know, opening up a massive book. And again, it's something about books, about how they can contain like hundreds of artists within one book. But you would say to the teacher like, oh, I want to do, I don't know, it could be the most random like graffiti related thing that, is so abstract. And like instead of just saying, nah, that's shit, like paint an oil painting, they'd go, oh, like my teacher would go, oh, check out this artist from the US. He did this 40 years ago. It's kind of similar to what you're doing. And
Oh, what?
why don't you
Fuck,
why
I've
don't you
never
why don't
got
you
that.
twist
Fuck
the,
me,
you know
man.
what I mean?
I
But
wish I
like
got your art teacher. Fuck, man. I could have been as good as you, man. My art
I
teacher
mean,
fucked me.
yeah, you drew the short stick, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, and also I had a sort of dude a few years above me at the same school that also painted, and I think the teacher knew, and he would come to school and tell her, oh yeah, miss, I was just at Sydenham this morning, I just fucking painted the XPT or whatever, like, and
Yeah.
she was chill about it, and so that also helped where you could kind of talk about graph, and she was into that sort of thing, so it was like
Yeah.
it
He
was
was pretty
quite nice for someone to actually like encourage that instead of just saying,
care.
"Oh, that's
Just
fucking
care
stupid,"
about your interests. Like it's an
Yeah, yeah.
important thing for a kid in their teenage years for people to give you that kind of validity. Is that a word? I don't
Mm.
know. Just in what you're going for, and then someone to tell you, yeah, that's good, man. Keep going with that. But whereas mine was like, no, we're doing this today. So whatever you're doing there, cut that off. We're doing this, and I'm like, I thought this was art.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty
You're supposed to have
ridiculous.
free
Like,
range of what you're thinking, but they were still pretty like they were still pretty
mm.
cool with like you could. Most of the art teachers there were like you could tell them stuff that you couldn't tell your maths teacher. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
fuck, man,
That's
it's
kind of
good.
what you need to be for being an art teacher, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I got a
yeah,
funny yarn kind of relating to art teachers, but this is about chorus. So
yeah.
fucking chorus, I met. Funnily enough, I sort of met him where he just was starting graph. Like I don't even think he wrote chorus. He just done his like first piece in like an abando with his mate.
Yeah.
And I actually met him online. Like I think we were like gaming online together, like through a forum or something. You know what I mean? But
Call of
I
Duty.
didn't. I didn't know. We're playing Minecraft actually. It's a very
Ah,
like young
one of those
person game.
kids, a
Yeah,
Minecraft
yeah.
kid. Fair
But
enough. Yeah.
anyway, he wasn't going by chorus. I didn't know his voice. I didn't know his name. He was going by some alias. Don't really remember. But he one day like he messages me privately, and he says the name of my one of my art school teachers from high school. I'm going, fuck, that's fucking weird. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
spinning out.
wild.
I'm going, how did he find that out? How did this? Because I was thinking he's from Western Sydney or something. I knew he was from Sydney, but I thought he was from out
Ah.
west or something. And then he drops the street name of my best mate from high school. And I'm thinking like, nah, this kid's either like knows
It's too
exactly who I
close, too
am
close
and
to
has
home,
been,
then.
yeah. Like he dropped that on me, and I'm like, fuck. And at that point, I'm getting a bit upset at him. I'm going, fucking fuck you,
Yeah.
like why are you saying all this stuff? And he finally comes clean to me and he tells me who he is. Turns out, not only have I gone to high school with him, because he's I think 3 years younger than me, so he's been at the same high school with me since year seven, well since
Yeah.
he was in year
Fuck.
seven, and I've seen him around the hallways and stuff. On top of that, he went to the same primary school as me. And then to
Wow.
make matters worse, he lives 10 minutes down the road from me. And I've driven past his house
Wow.
hundreds of times. Like he basically lived like a minute from my best mate, and I've probably seen his
Long lost
house
mates.
millions of times. And I was just like, what are the fucking chances?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and at that point he was sort of really just starting to graph, but he was like insanely good at drawing. At that point he hadn't done any oil paintings, but he was just like a
Bro.
insanely good at drawing.
Those ones that
And
he
then
posted
yeah.
recently with the Muay Thai fighter on the
Yeah,
piano
yeah,
and
yeah,
that,
yeah.
bro, what the fuck,
Actually
man? He's
insane,
so
right?
good.
And even from the beginning, like he was doing that with colored pencils, like really insane works. But he was
Fuck.
trying to get into graffiti, and so I sort of gave him a helping hand, and I sort of pushed like a lot of the techniques I learned, and then he just
Yeah.
took it to the next level because he has all that sort of art knowledge, and
Yeah.
that's how
Well,
he got good so quickly. It was like
that's
crazy.
what
But
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's the old saying of like in graffiti of schooling someone. That's
Mm.
how I got better. Like, yeah, one of my brothers used to teach me a few things here and there, and that's how I got better. If you don't have that, it's fucking really hard to to get better and stuff. Well, you've done that, but which is pretty crazy
Yeah,
that
I think
you've done
mentors
it
are so
yourself.
cool. Like
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't have I didn't have like a specifically like one mentor. Like I didn't have one guy telling me like, oh, but I had like a few, like a few guys that would take me out to paint and show
Yeah,
me a few things when they really didn't have to, but I really
yeah,
appreciate it. And so that's like one of my biggest philosophies now, especially in Canberra. I feel like in Sydney a little bit, but in Canberra, like I try and like take every young lad, or at least the ones that show interest. I try to take them out for paints.
yeah,
I'll buy all the paints for them, or not all of them, but I don't want them to just rock up with 3 Duluxes. I'll bring them a few
yeah.
paints, as well, and then just help them out and show them some sketching, some magazines. I just think it's like that's the way to keep the culture going.
Yeah. Oh man,
Like it's
man.
just that's the way to actually like get them good.
I've
Because yeah,
I brought this up fucking pretty much every podcast, man. But the old school writers that don't in Sydney, especially, they get the shits at young people for going over and all the rest of it, and it's just like, man, well, they don't know, man. So you need to kind of like, instead of getting angry at them, maybe fucking speak to them and say, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be done. You need to school people, otherwise they're just gonna fucking keep doing the wrong thing and not understand the whole culture and the scene. So the older generation kind of needs to speak up to the young generation, help them out, and that's what I've been trying to do recently. Like, I'll paint with anyone, man. I don't give a fuck if my piece is next to someone who's shit. Like, I just want to help other graffiti writers that are
exactly.
younger, because I didn't get to, like, luckily I had a brother that does it. But if you don't have that, man, you don't know nothing, man. And it's fucking daunting when you're trying to get better and other people are fucking shitting on you, like threatening to kill you or whatever. Like, it's not, especially a fucking 30-year-old man telling a fucking 16-year-old, I'm going to fucking stab you or some shit. Like, it's not, if you want to keep the culture going, don't be a sour cunt. Fucking help out the scene, and, we can keep the scene going, because it's, and yeah, it's a weird thing, man. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast too, to try and bring the culture up and, get more of a positive vibe on stuff. And yeah, it's just,
I think that's good.
The culture that I was brought up in, man, like, it's not, even like my brother's culture was like, everyone's against each other, but it's like, why are you against each other, man? Everyone's trying to do the same thing. Everyone wants to paint a train. Everyone wants to do all this stuff. Let's do it together. Like, why the fuck is, we're all wearing the same clothes and that. Like, everyone needs to stick together instead of fighting over stuff. It's bullshit at the end of the day.
Yeah. I agree completely, and I think it's essential. Like, and even when I was doing that magazine, like that was sort of during and after COVID sort of times.
Yeah.
And even just shout out to Zombie, like,
Yeah.
already he gave me his time to do this magazine, but I gave him the magazine in person, and he had me over at his place showing me just like, all his archives essentially of like
Yeah. He must
all the
have a
graph he's done.
fucking wild
I
archive,
know,
bro.
and it's like he didn't have to do that, like
Yeah, man.
he could have easily just said, yeah, just drop off the magazine, but just
Yeah.
like opening like the eyes of like someone younger to that was just really good. And I think that even just the concept of that, like I think yeah, there's a right to be kind of private with certain things,
Of course.
and to want that. But I also think sometimes you should open up a bit and pass that knowledge on before it's too late. Especially to people who actually, you can tell actually want to like do good. Like
Yeah.
it's different to spots and stuff. Like I'm not saying like, oh, you should give all your panel spots out to like the young
No.
kids. It's like, no, they've got to go out and learn, but it's also like
The
certain other
basics.
things. I think,
Just
yeah,
the
the
basics,
history,
man.
the teachings, like you should kind of help people out when you can,
Yeah,
if you've
if you
got the means to. Yeah,
just learn just teach them the basics, and then help them out a little bit. Even if like even now with Instagram and stuff, if you can share like someone who you've painted with who's not as good as you, like they're just starting out or whatever, just like just give them a little share or whatever every now and then. It makes that younger person feel like more accepted in the scene, and then just want to get out there and fucking cause more damage, maybe. I don't know, but
oh,
yeah,
I
you know what
agree.
I
I
mean.
agree.
But yeah,
Even things like critiquing people's like sketches that sort of are starting out. I think it's a bit
yeah,
sensitive. Some people take it badly, but for example, like
yeah.
yeah, I improved a lot just having older writers look at my pieces and going, "That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong." I think it can hurt your ego a little bit
Yeah, because
if you're not
you
sort
think
of
that's
careful
your
about
best
it.
sketch you've ever done in your life, and then someone comes over and goes, "Oh, this is wrong." You're like, "What?" and it blows your
Exactly.
mind. And then, but at least if you can say it in a way that kind of like doesn't demean them and be like, oh, that's a shit arrow there. Just be like, oh, no, you can do a little bit
Yeah.
more here and there and like help it out. And then they won't get shitty and be like, you know what, fuck Graph, I'm just gonna leave. You know what I mean? So
100%, yeah. I had that like sect did that to me a few times, like where
yeah,
I had a
shout out to
sketch where,
Sex, my boy.
yeah, I know.
Yay!
I did some
He's a
he was
legend,
he was
man.
nice enough to have me help him out on a mural once, and that was good as well. Get my
Yeah,
sort of
man.
foot in the door and
He
learn
paints a
how it's
lot of
done.
he paints a lot of lorikeets.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So that was quite funny that I ended up,
Yeah.
doing that for 2 years anyway later
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
No,
but
that's
yeah,
cool.
he would tell me like on the sketch that I really liked, he'd say, "Oh, nah, that sort of bit doesn't line up with that bit." And I'd look at it again and I'd be like, "Oh," like in my head I'd think, "Oh, what do you mean? Like I did a mad job on this
You
sketch."
think
And
it's
then
right? Yeah.
yeah, and then I look at what he actually said and I go, "Oh, fuck. He's right." And then I try what he said and it makes all my sketches look better. I'm like, "Oh shit." Like,
Yeah. There you go.
you know,
There you
like I
go.
appreciate that. If he didn't say that to me, I might have taken me another
Yeah.
2 months to figure it out. Whereas
Yeah.
him just saying that took him probably 5 minutes to type it out and then
Yeah.
probably saved me 2 months of just doing shitty sketches.
Yeah. You do lorikeets that look like magpies.
Yeah, exactly,
But
exactly.
all right, we might run out a bit of time here, but let's just wrap it up soon, eh? We'll
Yeah, yeah, easy, easy.
let's just go with the last question, eh? Any good pieces of advice you've gotten over the years, but besides like that graph one, or even just life stuff in general, maybe from your parents or from like a grandparent or something like that that's stuck in your
Mm.
mind?
Oh, it's probably a few. I would say, and this is, I guess, because it's kind of relevant to where I'm at in life. And I think if someone younger is watching this, especially people who might like my work, they might be a bit younger. I would say, if you're trying to do something in life, like you can basically do whatever you want. Like you could come from being like a doctor and go, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a tradie, and you go and be a carpenter or a sparky or whatever, right? But I think one of the big things is like have a plan. Like have a plan of what you want to do. If you have a plan, you're going to make it work. And that could be for anything, for making a magazine, making a podcast, doing a piece, traveling. Like there is benefits of spontaneity, like being spontaneous and shit. I like that, but also for like big decisions, I think it's good to just have a plan in your mind of like, this is how I'm going to do it, and if it doesn't work, this is what I'm going to do. I think that's
Yeah.
always a good thing. It works for everything, for panels, for anything. Having a good plan that usually helps you out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had that at a younger age too, where it was like you just have to get a like a baseline job kind of thing, and then just have your little hobbies on the side, and then eventually, when you get better at your hobbies, you can eventually turn that into a business or whatever. And yeah, well, eventually, I just kept going with that, the course and
Yeah.
stuff that I was doing. But I love my job anyway, man. I love painting, so it's all good. And then I've got my little side thing on like graph, and now I've started this fucking podcast, which is turning out to be a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be.
No, if that's what you want, that's what you want.
But yeah, if this eventuates where I can just quit my job and start doing this non-stop and just interviewing every fucking graffiti writer in the world, man, I'll fucking grab onto that fucking with both hands, man. But
Yeah, nice, nice.
yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's good to see the perspective of like a young writer in Sydney who's absolutely fucking killing it. So
Oh, thanks, mate.
I
Too
love,
kind. Thank
I
you.
love, I love your work, man. Like I always have, and yeah, I love painting with you, and hopefully we can do some pieces in the future. But yeah, if you want to shout out your business or whatever you want to do, it's up to you. I can edit it out, but it's all good. So shout
No,
it
that's
out
all
if you
right. I
want, and
mean, I
then
mean, yeah. Just shout out to like all my mates, obviously, like my crewmates, NC, like
yeah,
all my good friends, and then just like shout out everyone who I painted with. I feel like everyone I've painted with has always taught me something. I've learned something from everyone. So
yeah,
thanks for everything. Yeah, and thanks for having
yeah,
me on. I appreciate it. It's always good to sit down and chat with someone like minded.
yeah. Awesome,
Yeah.
man. You've been good. Awesome. Thanks, man. I'll just end it
Cheers.
now.